Welcome to episode 5 of the build of my Mazda 626. This episode will go over getting the seats mounted in place, getting the gearbox tunnel finished off, and make a start on getting the new diff into it that I sorted out. So take a watch and let me know what you think. Cheers!
This one here goes out to Riversdale Park, Avondale, for all the snot news kids. Check. This basketball court tells my life without no more talk. Footprints still in the floor from where my fours walk. Memories still in my thoughts, I'm back and forth, forming chalk still drawn up on the wall for the scoreboard and in the breeze. I hear the old wind kicking leaves as I sit in trees, watching little me sit in threes. I smell the tar seal burning in the summer sun, and melting bubblegum mixed with burning rubber from my bike's back tire, leaving marks on the car park ponds had my name carved in their bark. Blood stains remain like my first tattoo, written in the concrete with a piece of bamboo. And I go back now and again to get up out of my head and think about.
Tunnel's all welded in and hole cut with the shifter. You can see this gap at the back there. The reason I've done that is it's looking like I'm going to have to raise this bit through here and quite likely further back, but definitely there, so that's what that's for. I've been humming and hawing what to do with these seats, well, more so the seat mounts. You'll have to excuse the lighting, it's night time and it's quite dark in here, so I've got my headlamp, which I find is the best way to work at night. Anyway, so I need to decide what to do with these seat mounts. If you watch my earlier episodes, you'll know I was contemplating these rear mounts here. And my dilemma was that the seat hangs quite far behind these mounts, and I was worried, like I've seen in other cars, the weight of the seat and stiff suspension actually pushes the mounts through the floor. And so my options are to build mounts further back, or maybe reinforce these ones and then just make mounts to suit. So after a bit of thought, I've decided that I'm going to use what's there and reinforce them and try and make them as strong as I can. And pretty much my deciding factor is this exhaust tunnel, if you can see that, the hump there. So because of the ride height I want to run the car, I need to get the exhaust tucked up nice and high, and the idea is that I'll run twin stainless pipes to the diff. If I come around here to the motor, if you're not familiar with rotaries, I'm sure a lot of you are, but if you're not, those are the exhaust ports there, just two exhaust ports being a two rotor. So the extractors will essentially be two pipes out of there and all the way back to the diff, and I'll collect them just before the diff. So it'll be twin 2-inch stainless pipes all the way back, and they actually run quite nicely under the car through this hump. It's actually a bit of this lighting sucks, but it is what it is. So the exhaust will run through that hump, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut the floor through there to replicate this hump actually going right through to the back. So I'll probably end up being able to run two pipes straight from, once it gets around the steering and to the gearbox, straight through, make the exhaust nice and simple and nice and tucked up. So that there gives me my reason for not being able to move these seat mounts back, because this tunnel is going to be built out and up. It means I can't do the seat mounts now, and I'd really like to, so I will just work with what's there, reinforce them, do what I can, and if it becomes a problem down the track, then just have to deal with it then. But yeah, so we'll work with that. This is the bottom of the Auto Sports. So like I've said before as well, these are a bottom mount, which means they bolt through from the bottom. So what the plan of attack is to pretty much make a frame that bolts to the bottom of the seat to those mounts. So strip a flat bar there, strip a flat bar there. I'll drill a series of holes to give it a few different places it can bolt in. So 2 pieces of flat bar and up and down. Well, that's actually forward and back, that's the front of the seat. And then flat bar between them to hold them the appropriate distance apart, and then I'll bring it into the car, sit it in place where I want the seat to be, sort of at a neutral start point, like by putting it in the middle of the adjustment holes, and then I'll build tabs off that frame to pick up the threaded bosses in the front crossmember there and those rear mounts. I will most likely in this, for the rear mounts, have a reasonably substantial support between those rails to kind of join those two together, and we'll be plating them and fully welding them in rather than the spot welds at a later date. Probably once the car gets, most of the fab work gets done and I start stripping it properly, I'll do it at that stage. Probably do a bit of seam welding around the same time, so yeah.
Gotta let the hours I spent, and I can hear the ball bouncing again. And sometimes I can even hear the sound of the net. Like, just walking through the street with nothing on our feet. Just snotty little kids playing 5-on-5. Sitting in the dark with the bums in the park and the bottle on the bench on a Friday night. Chilling with myself, just me and no one else. Looking at the world from the 3-point line. From 3 feet tall all the way to 24. Sparskable cord that knows my life. Now as the days flew, the same hoop was where we came to. Same crew, same old sways, but they were spray blue. Same view, nothing had changed, just the chains new. And the tape play break loose for us to break to. The same moon would light the core every night like a torch, while the old folk call their kids in from by the porch. And you can tell the ones who grew up here, cause they used to...
Here's the seat mounts all drilled for plenty of forward and back adjustability. I probably went a bit overboard with the mount and how close they are together. Probably didn't need that much, but it's all good. It's done now. I'd actually firstly drilled a hole in each at 8mm, just so that when I bolted it onto there to tack together, it'd be a nice snug fit. But I ballsed it up and drilled the right one there, and then I drilled the wrong one at the top, so it didn't actually join up. It didn't actually match up, so it's all good. I've drilled them all to the oversize of 9mm, which will work good with an 8mm bolt. And proof that you always balls shit up, I drilled far too many holes at this end, so I'll actually have to chop off a bit of that, but it's all good.
The brothers used to wear like a souvenir. It's like we do a loop. I'm looking at my new recruit playing on the same hoop where we used to shoot. And now we sit up on the park bench skipping mass, sipping jack where we sat in the days picking scabs. Sitting back in the pitch black as I reminisce on every switch, missing every shot I ever missed. And I remember still, ain't forgotten, probably never will. The day I bet will 7-0. It's real.
Got the driver's seat mount ready to weld in, so bracket that I made that bolts to the bottom of the seat, and then these 4 brackets on each bolt point for the factory seat. I'm just using those wheel nuts there actually just as spaces to get my height right to start, so that just slips in there, and yeah, so those spaces are just to give it, raise the front of the seat just a little bit and recline it back. So I'll set my forward and back distance that I want and tack them in, and then pull it out and weld them up. Same thing that I've done with like the front crossmember and the engine mounts and whatnot. The holes, the mount holes that bolt to the car, I've drilled to 8mm for now, and those 8mm bolts, so it's a nice snug fit. And then once it's all welded, I'll drill them out to 9mm, so they should be all accurate, and then makes it nice and easy to get the bolts in and out.
Just walking through the street with nothing on our feet. Just naughty little kids playing 5-on-5. Sitting in the dark with the bums in the park and the bottle on the bench on a Friday night. Chilling with myself, just me and no one else. Looking at the world from the 3-point line. From 3 feet tall all the way to 24. Sparkable cord that knows my life.
Now I've got both the Autosports mounted in place. The passenger one actually turned out to be a bit of a bitch really. The seat, or the mounts on the bottom of the seat, for some reason were actually different to the drivers, which is kind of odd, seeing they're the same seat, slightly different years I suppose, but exact same model of seat. So it meant that actually some of the stuff that I'd done when I'd done the first one, actually I had to redo. So, but anyway, it's in. I didn't film it because it was the same process, so yeah, you get the idea.
I went home today, and that car where we go to play. Been bulldozed away, now the only stain from the olden day. And the marks on the path on the rollerblades, and the fingerprints left on the blackboard. A black wall and a flat ball, but that's all. There's no more lights, no more fights. So who's like Mike and no games that go all night? There's no more life. I'll pick up a rock and take a jump shot that I once got from that one spot. And I remember how it felt being young as I count 3, 2, 1. I guess one day we all gotta end the game. I never would've made the NBA anyway, but I'll never let my memory fade. And whenever I play, I remember the day just walking through the street with nothing on our feet. Just naughty little kids playing 5-on-5. Sitting in the dark with the bums in the park and the bottle on the bench on a Friday night. Chilling with myself, just me and no one else. Looking at the world from the 3-point line. From 3 feet tall all the way to 24. Sparkable cord that knows my life.
Have the diff that I'll be using all stripped. It's a Toyota F-Series live axle diff out of a Toyota Steamer. Quite a lot wider than the 626, but pretty close to the track, or the new track width in the front of the 626 with the Nissan gear in it. So I've just obviously stripped it down. This is actually the head for it's a 4:1 ratio, 4.1. I'm actually going to be sourcing another one of these F-Series diffs, which is going to go in my KP Starlet, which is under the cover there. The other one that I'm going to be sourcing is a 3.9, and my father actually has one which is a 4.6 I think. So I think we're going to do a bit of swapping. I'll put the 4.6 into this for the Mazda, and the 4.1 can go on the Starlet, and he'll take the 3.9, just going to into his 1UZ V8 K70 Corolla. So that should work out all three cars with some good ratios to suit. Although this diff is pretty similar in 4-link configuration, the mounts don't work. So the reason I've stripped it is we'll be cutting off these top and bottom arm links. Top and bottom arm mounts, and fabricating new ones to bolt into the Mazda. It's going to be unshortened to stay the factory width, and I'll probably just run a lock diff for now on it. I'm going to run the factory Toyota drums. I was actually a bit worried they weren't going to fit, but they are a nice fit in the 13-inch wheel, and that's just a 5mm spacer that it needs just to clear the wheel. So that's the SSR Mark IIIs that I'm going to try and use if I can get some new outer lips to get the width I need. So it's looking good that those brakes will clear those wheels in the rear, and then in the front the Nissan brakes are going to clear with probably around a 15mm spacer. So it should actually bring the front track out to pretty much bang on what that steamer diff is. So it's all looking good. Thanks for watching episode 5. Hopefully next episode we'll get stuck right into this diff conversion, get a bunch of the machining done, drill the axles, get some mounts put on it, get it into the car, and hopefully we can stick some wheels on and do some fun stuff like cut the guards out and raise it right up, see how slammed it is. It'll be quite cool. So yeah, it's probably a full episode worth, so look out for it. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Cheers.